Okay, obviously got the result on the weekend, but how much confidence still is within the group? You come up against, this is the biggest test to come up against North, but is confidence still high kind of from that performance, irrespective of the result?
Yeah, absolutely, and confidence is a massive word that we've tried to build off in the pre-season and off the back of the last few seasons. Obviously, with last season not going with how we wanted to train a certain way that allowed us to grow that confidence back. I thought we really played, I would say, 3 out of 4 quarters with some pretty high confidence, and going into this next week, it's just a bigger challenge against the Crows. Previous premiers, we know what an incredible group they are, so we definitely haven't lost any confidence at all against North, and we'll look to bring that against Adelaide.
That first round, it's the first time that Adelaide and Brisbane lost the first round together. Is that, I guess, also some confidence that potentially they're vulnerable and that you guys can take it again to them being one of the competition's best?
In a sense, yeah. I think if anything, like, it's the same thing for us when we've come off a loss in round one. It only makes you want to go in harder the next week. So we're not oblivious to that coming up against North next weekend, or this weekend, with them and the way they're going to look to prep against playing us. They're going to come with a lot of fire in their stomach, and like you've mentioned, I think it's the first time that they've not won round one. So for them it's going to be a massive challenge just as much as it is for us, and I think it'll be a really good game off the back of that.
Have you reviewed Saturday yet, or is it still to be worked through with the coaches and have a look at the areas where you did sort of break down, especially after quarter time?
Yeah, we had a brief review yesterday, so Monday's usually a couple of days after the game. We break the game down as a whole group, as a team, and then we look to break off into lines and get into some specifics. So I've definitely broken the game down, identified some areas, and probably recognised that it's not all doom and gloom. It was a loss for us, but there was a lot of positives throughout the game, individually, as a group, that we'll look to take on to next week. But I would say there'd be some more review today before we turn fully onto Adelaide.
Individually, and I know it's a team sport, but do you walk away pretty pleased with how you performed? I think you found it 27 times. That's the ideal start to the season as an individual.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say statistics has been something for me playing on the wing a lot of my career. It's not something that is often spoken about in terms of numbers, so I don't feel like my stats have been spoken about before when it's been lower than 27, so I probably won't take anything off that. And it's good to get the hands on the ball and feel like you can have influence on the game, but I'll just look to play my role again next week.
I'll ask you about one of your teammates. Georgie Rankin at times found herself outside the best 21 last year, but a massive pre-season, off-season has paid off straight away.
100%, yeah, and I've been fortunate enough to do a lot of my training with Georgie Rankin over the off-season. She's been working so hard tirelessly in the club and outside the club. I know personally has gone out of her way to source external training, external mentoring because of what she's been through and where she wants to be. I know she didn't recognise her game as what last season was, and as any player that goes through that circumstance, she's one that only wants to get better, and the weekend's just a start for her. She's been working so hard, along with so many of the group, and that was just a glimpse of what's to come, I think, for G this season.
Has your kind of right role or positioning on the ground kind of changed this season, or?
No, it hasn't. I read an article that said I was a winger still. I think that's probably off the back of the game against North on the weekend. I found myself up the ground a fair bit, trying to help our defence and get the ball moving further up the ground. We have a really strong system throughout our group in terms of wanting to support our backs and set up the ground. So I found myself doing that a lot on the wing, and that just links in with the half forward role I'm playing at the moment. So still structurally playing as a half forward, but I like to get up and down the ground and support where I can.
Just your comments, I guess your attack on the football, and I also saw it in a pre-season training, took a hanger, just your ability to kind of get off the ground. Do you feel even more just confident in your kind of body and your athleticism to kind of go for those, to, I guess, attack the ball?
Yeah, for sure. And I appreciate that a lot. I feel it comes with the territory as well. I'm coming into, what is it now? My 7th season in the AFL Women's, and I think often in my early days I probably felt like I was a bit restricted in terms of my size and height and build as well, in terms of what I thought I could do. So just been working really hard on the craft side of things and in the gym, and exploring what different aspects of the game can be for me, taking a lot of taking a lot of notes off the small forwards and small players throughout the comp, men's and women's, that are doing things differently. It's not a one size fits all. So I love love being explosive on the field, whether that's trying to get up into contests, and haven't pulled that into a game yet, but been loved doing that in training, alongside really hitting the contest hard. I think that's something I've really loved and wanted to bring into my game more. So.
In the last couple of seasons, like a lot of the team, and I feel like the competition is striving to play that really attacking brand of football. I think we saw that in that first quarter, particularly from both teams, but it did turn more defensive, a little bit more dour, like in that kind of second and third. So that's just the way the guys both attacking the contest. But would you like to obviously see that still open up and obviously really pushing for that attacking brand of football for 4 quarters?
Absolutely, and I think that's all any team and the competition and even viewers can hope for. I personally think viewing the game is most exciting when it's attacking from both sides, and it's a tough ask when you've got two high quality teams that are going head to head trying to do the same thing. I often think when we're sitting in game previewing games and talking about everything that we want to do and try and stop the opposition from doing, is most likely what the opposition's speaking about us about. So that's the product of what comes out on a game like the weekend, and it's a credit to North. They were able to hold on to that longer than we were, and again, I thought we were very, very much so offensive and attacking in, as you mentioned, the first and second quarters. But I just think it's a credit to our backline to be able to hold on so long, and when North really put the pressure on us. As I've mentioned before, I think the score could have been a lot worse if it weren't for our backline. So very appreciative for them, and we'll look to work on that for this week going forward.
Did you consume many of the other games from the weekend, Bowen? And if you did, what did you take away? Any trends that you picked up from how AFLW might win season 10?
Yeah, I probably for my own individual preparations watched a bit here and there. Try not to watch too much of it, just in terms of preparing myself physically and mentally. But I definitely watched the Carlton-Collingwood game, the opening round. I think it was too hard not to. Too much momentum, too much excitement for that one. I just think that the skill and the fundamental of the game is just progressing rapidly, which is allowing the rate of play, the game knowledge, and everything that comes with the growth of the AFL women's to progress really quickly. I think that's something that we've took a lot of pride in previously, as our skill as a group, and being able to watch both Collingwood and Carlton just carve each other up at different times, defend really well at different times. I just think the standard across the competition is really lifted, and that's something we'll look to fit in with where we can and hopefully get on top of as well.
A couple of the results. Hawthorn going to Brisbane's probably not a massive upset, but I think St Kilda beating Adelaide turned a couple of heads. It's good for the comp for a couple of those teams that have battled in their early days to actually find their feet and start moving up the ladder.
Absolutely. I think wherever it is, competition is exciting. That's what people want to see. I'm a massive fan of the Formula One, and when Max Verstappen's winning every single race, it's boring for me. So I really hope that viewers, just regardless of who is winning, it's everyone's got their own team and wanting to see growth respectively. So for Saints to get on top of Adelaide, it's a massive tick in their growth, and I'm sure one that Adelaide won't forget. And it's great for the competition as a whole.
You seem really positive, and you take a lot of positives out of the game on the weekend, but that's 1/12 of your season. So do the losses hurt a bit more with such a short season?
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say they hurt. I think no one wants to lose. We definitely don't want to lose as a group. We went through that last season, and we that's not to say that we're not going to go through it again this season. But I think it's all part of what we do at this elite level of sport. I think if anything, I've always grown up with a belief that you learn more from your losses than you do your wins. So I very much believe we'll be better for it. Obviously disappointing, and would have loved to start off the season with a win, as everyone does. But as I mentioned before, everyone's going hunting for the same thing, and we'll look to get on top of that this weekend.